Hey, loves. Are you eating delicious things?
Yeah, we have cookies. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. I've found this week kind of tough, but I went to the coast today and that was nice.
I saw those shorts you were working on. They look really good.
Thanks. Yeah. I'm pretty pleased with how sharp the point at the back is, considering it's lycra and it's really hard to work with. So. Hi, Robert.
Hello.
Yeah, I had sort of intended to cycle out to Largs at some point, but decided that soon as my knee is not happy, a 6-hour round cycle would be a bad idea. And then I was sad because I wasn't going to go to the coast. And then I remembered I could drive. Although driving is not as good, it still would get me to the place that I wanted to go. So I did that and it was super nice. And I was there early enough to kind of miss it being busy and to catch the really nice sun we had this morning. So
you had Largs, Dave. Largs can be nice.
yeah, so I parked down at the Pencil Beach bit and then walked in, and it was super nice. Hi, Frankie.
My favorite part of Largs, if I'm honest, is actually the terrible, grotesque spray paint art on the side of all the amusement park rides.
What's
There's
this?
these malformed. Well, you know how when you
It's
go
just
to
any amusement, any sort of British seaside town amusement.
Yeah.
Arcade / beach. Yeah.
Yeah, there's always these half melted minions, or Captain America, if Captain America had been left in a crock pot.
Or a very airbrushed Peter Pan, a weirdly airbrushed Peter Pan.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that stuff. I want to make a little art gallery dedicated to those.
Does that exist in other places? Is it just a weird British thing?
No, it's in New Zealand too. It's all over. Just every fucking merry-go-round has some horrific mutation of Ace Ventura or The Rock or or something.
Right, hold on. I'm going. I've just come from listening to a Daniel Kitson show with Martin, so I'm hopelessly underprepared, and I'm just looking through my collection now to see if there's any more that I can skim out of it. So bear with me.
It's very weird not having Nick and Katie at Storytime.
It is.
They have been such constants.
Very strange. We miss you if you're there.
We miss you
in the future.
Hey, do you guys want to know what I did today?
Yes.
Yeah, I do.
I tinted my eyebrows.
Oh.
How do you feel?
What do you guys think?
They are, I believe I'm using this phrase correctly, on fleek.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah! You said the magic words!
Am I cool now? Amazing.
You are so fly, Frankie.
No, fly isn't a thing anymore.
You are absolutely hitting the jive.
You're just in cat's pajamas.
Step back, Hepcat. Yeah, they look
super good.
cool.
Thank you. I didn't want to make them super, super bold, but I don't think that they are going to help with my confidence without anybody necessarily noticing, which is exactly what I want.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally feel that way when I do my eyebrows, especially when I make them match my hair. It's just like a little boost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Can I tell you what I did today?
Please do.
I had a friend who's flying back home in a couple days, and I borrowed this fabulous book of poems. It's called The Book of Qualities from her partner, who is also in town, and he was like, you can have it if you can give it back to me before we fly back on Sunday. I was like, sweet, yes, give me this book for like 2 fucking days. So I met her at her, I think, uncle's backyard, and it just is like on the river and stretches out really far and beautifully with a bunch of really nice places to sit. So I returned the book and watched her do some handstands in front of a river and read some poetry. And then I stopped and bought really good sourdough and made tuna mouth with sourdough and local cheese afterwards.
Holy shit, that sounds like the best day.
Yeah.
You are absolutely winning at days.
That sounds like an awesome day.
Do you want to see what I did with my day?
Always.
So Eva has lent me a bike lately, which is great, but it's it doesn't do enough to like impress small children. What? No, I didn't ask you for anything. Yeah, so I made some modifications this afternoon.
Oh my god!
Nice.
That's a pair of horns and a Nerf crossbow.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't worry, I keep the like little Nerf bullets in a separate pouch. But yeah.
You're gonna be the king of the 10-year-olds.
I will ride eternal on the cycle lanes of Valhalla.
Can I share my little happy moment?
Of
Yeah!
course, please, always.
Hold on. I mean, it's a show and tell.
Fucking love show and tell.
I
Yeah.
love show and tell.
So I walked to the next village because it has an Asda, and that's the only place that has slightly cheaper coffee of the kind that I prefer. So yay, I walked 2 miles there and 2 miles back, and also I went for coffee and got a dinosaur mug.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Fucking rad.
that's
That's so
so
good.
good.
What's the lip like? This is important. Like how? Okay, cool.
It's like a good super ice cream mug for sure.
Like got good anti-spill contouring. I like it.
Yeah.
I also, though, like, I see it and part of me wants to put a succulent in it for some reason.
Every time anyone says the word succulent, I can't help but think of that one song called Succulent, which is like the horniest thing I have ever fucking heard.
Yes! Yes!
Yeah, I've showed you it before. I can show you again
Please, I mean, read
when
the
they are
lyrics.
watching.
Oh my god, they have hornier music, dude. They have so much hornier music. It
How
just
is that
keeps going.
possible?
Have you listened to Witch by them?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Also, like, love song for a John stripper. Fuck.
I like the one about gay sex. Like the one that's
Yeah, gay sex.
titled gay sex rather than the ones that are just about gay sex.
Exactly.
So good.
It's so good. Anyways, I have now like been switching between albums of this person. I think I'm gonna move on to I think it's Queer Breakup Songs is the one I haven't listened to yet. I've listened to a lot of queer pop songs and the queer sex songs, like the gay sex songs one with gay sex on it, and the other, or that one might be on Queer Love Songs, and then the Succulent EP. Anyways, but I haven't listened to anything that I don't like yet, and that's really impressive.
Nice. Nice. Right, hold on. Just this one. Poetry admin. Oh, okay. It's. I think it's potentially poetry time.
It's poetry time.
It's poetry
It's
time.
really weird to not have Katie here.
It's
It
I was
is.
just thinking that.
very, very strange.
Oh yeah, I also kind of finished a poem today. I edited it like that poetry one, so I might give a go reading it. We'll see how I feel. I'm definitely still gonna read the Maya Angelou one we talked about. I don't know who's on my message, Frankie. I sent it like less than 15 minutes ago, probably. So.
Okay, if there's anybody else, so I've got Rory's got one, I've got you down for 2, Bina, you've got like a couple more. Kitty has one. Tara, if Tara turns up, might have one. Has anybody else got any that they would like to stick on the list? No problem. Okay. Oh, and also, I probably should have said this in the announcement, but it didn't occur to me, so I'm going to say it now. At some point in the future, I'm also going to do an immigrant and immigration theme, so specifically poems that are by immigrants and about the immigrant and immigration experience. So if people have poems tonight that they feel would fit that more, like you can definitely still read them tonight, but if there are, that will be a thing that will happen in the future. Yes, that is potentially relevant, as there may be a
Could we do like immigrants and indigenous rights tied together? Because I feel like they'd complement each other really well if people are up for tossing in a couple of those at that. Because I don't know if anyone else has much indigenous poetry.
Yeah, definitely. I think that would be awesome. Right. Okay. So, bang, 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 bang. I hereby call this meeting of Poetry Time to order, and we're going to officially start. Bina, how would you feel about starting us off?
Yeah, do that. So this whole collection is essentially about like resistance and protest. It's this all the same poet. So now I have to decide which one. I will do the short one, which is called Dance. It feels like a nice way to kick it off. So I want it to feel like a dance, the way we move together in crowds. I want it to feel like a song, the way we sing together for change. I want it to feel like a long lost kiss, the way we talk about the future we miss. I want it to be art we make collaboratively, the way we come together to build a different world.
Oh, lovely, gorgeous. That was super beautiful. Thank you, Bina.
Yes. So there's a lot of kind of stuff about the processes of like activism and learning to live with it in this. So there's it's a bit less like issue topic focused maybe.
That's
cool. Fuck, that just reminded me of another one. Can I toss one more into the mix, Frankie?
Yeah, of course, my darling. Well, I have one that will I do this one? Yeah, I think I might throw this one in there, as it's not exactly an activist poem, but it kind of popped into my head when the theme came up, at least in terms of kind of the sort of the difficulty of living in the world when there are such terrible things happening, and the kind of like how, you know, having to sort of find the balance between fighting for change and to make things better, but also like being able to accept that the world is shitty and that sometimes you have to live in it.
Is it Good Bones? Is it Good Bones?
It's not Good Bones, but that sounds amazing. And I
know, I was just thinking about Good Bones when you were talking.
Well, maybe I could do this one, and if somebody would like to do, Rory, would you like to do Good Bones?
I would love to hear Bina do Good Bones, if that's right.
Bina, would you like to do Good Bones after?
Sure, I will find it.
And then Em, would you like to do one of yours after Bina? Rack 'em up. Okay, so this is by Wisława Szymborska, who is just an amazing poet. And it's called Under One Small Star. My apologies to chance for calling it necessity. My apologies to necessity if I'm mistaken after all. Please don't be angry, happiness, that I take you as my due. May my dead be patient with the way my memories fade. My apologies to time for all the world I overlook each second. My apologies to past loves for thinking that the latest is the first. Forgive me, distant wars, for bringing flowers home. Forgive me, open wounds, for pricking my finger. I apologize for my record of minuets to those who cry from the depths. I apologize to those who wait in railway stations for being asleep today at 5 a.m. Pardon me, hounded hope, for laughing from time to time. Pardon me, deserts that I don't rush to you bearing a spoonful of water. And you, falcon, unchanging year after year, always in the same cage, your gaze always fixed on the same point in space, forgive me, even if it turns out you were stuffed. My apologies to the felled tree for the table's 4 legs. My apologies to great questions for small answers. Truth, please don't pay me much attention. Dignity, please be magnanimous. Bear with me, O mystery of existence, as I pluck the occasional thread from your train. Soul, don't take offense that I've only got you now and then. My apologies to everything that I can't be everywhere at once. My apologies to everyone that I can't be each woman and each man. I know I won't be justified as long as I live, since I myself stand in my own way. Don't bear me ill will, speech, that I borrow weighty words, then labour heavily so that they may seem light. I think that is lovely.
So good.
Bina, would you like to do Good Bones?
There's also a 6-line poem called "In the Time of the Alt-Right" in this collection. That is sort of a similar thing, maybe. But this is Good Bones. Life is short, though I keep this from my children. Life is short, and I've shortened mine in 1,000 delicious, ill-advised ways. 1,000 deliciously ill-advised ways I'll keep from my children. The world is at least 50% terrible, and that's a conservative estimate, though I keep this from my children. For every bird, there is a stone thrown at a bird. For every loved child, a child broken, bagged, sunk in a lake. Life is short, and the world is at least half terrible. And for every kind stranger, there is one who would break you, though I keep this from my children. I am trying to sell them the world. Any decent realtor walking you through a real shithole chirps on about good bones. This place could be beautiful, right? You could make this place beautiful.
Such an amazing poem.
Oh God. There's that actually vaguely like makes me think of another one by Wisława Szymborska called A Word on Statistics, which I might read later if we have time, just because I think it's an excellent poem, but not as thematically relevant. But thank you very much, Bina and Rory, for suggesting. Em, would you like to do one of yours next?
Yeah, so this is the one that made the other one kind of reminded me of a little bit, and it's again not as thematically relevant, but the mood I think really applies to a lot of them. So the book it's from is called The Book of Qualities by Ruth Gensler, I believe the name was. I'll post it in the group later, and it also has a bunch of her line drawings to go with the photos. So the book. So this is a photo of the picture that goes with the poem I'm reading, and it's called Despair. I can show it again at the end if you like. Despair papered her bathroom walls with newspaper articles on acid rain. For years, she worked with abused children. She has documented how we all suffer from malnourishment based on insufficient amounts of love. She has investigated how the pain of concentration camp survivors has been transmitted from one generation to the next through disturbances in the parent-child relationship. Not only the children, but the grandchildren and their children. Despair is overworked and overwhelmed. She has a heart condition. In her dreams, the war is everywhere. She is not lying or exaggerating. Still, it is difficult to be around her. There is no arguing with her. She is persuasive, eloquent, and undeniably well-informed. If you attempt to change her mind, you will come away agreeing with her. She has stopped listening to music. I
Thank
can't
you.
hear you.
Yeah, we're not getting your audio.
Oh, mine?
Oh, you're back.
Oh, am I back? How bizarre. Oh, hello, Michael. Hi, Michael.
Hello.
Hi, sweets. Did you have anything that you wanted sticking on the list to contribute, or are you here to listen? You are muted.
Oh, it's the weekend. I'd forgotten that bit.
Yes, we are doing poetry as opposed to monstrous regimenting. But you're here now. You can't leave.
Indeed. It is a trap. Once you come, you've got to listen to the poems.
Exactly. The theme is protest and activism. So if you leave, we know you don't care about the planet. Ha 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 ha. No, I'm kidding. If you can go if you want.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
if I leave in protests, then
Oh, psych. Okay. Bina?
Anyway, so Frankie, what did you say about the despair poem? It looked like your mouth was moving a lot, and I totally missed what you'd said.
I said I really liked it, and thank you for reading it.
You're welcome.
Bina, do you have one that you would be able to do next?
Yeah, there's a Vanessa Kasule one called the F-bomb, which is about not wanting to talk about feminism because everyone gets awkward. But there's another one called A Moment of Silence that I think will better
Oh, yeah, that sounds
follow that.
sounds perfect.
Yeah. So it's called A Moment of Silence. Please no tweets, viral hashtags, or profile picture flags. Sit on your think pieces and counter think pieces. Roll the sharp tongues back into your mouths. Let the hush after the gunshot or bomb blast ring through our ribs. We will relearn the art of being slack and speechless. We will spend as much time with the feeling as we do its definition. A whole minute will go by, our phones and thoughts in flight mode. We will bow before the infinite things that soften spines and steel spirits. Momentarily we will sink, resurface, and only then let our voices take the helm and the circus recommence.
Wow.
So I think the only thing you've heard so far from her is the carpet poem, which we had in like everyday things, which was about the carpet getting its hair messed up.
Oh, yes.
So there's like a lot of variety in there.
Fantastic. Very fantastic. I have a one that I would maybe like to do next, which is sort of thematically linked. It's called Talk, and it's by Yevgeny Yevtushenko. Translated by Robin Milner-Galland and Peter Levy, because I always forget to credit the translation. You're a brave man, they tell me. I'm not. Courage has never been my quality. Only I thought it disproportionate so to degrade myself as others did. No foundations trembled. My voice no more than laughed at pompous falsity. I did no more than write, never denounced. I left out nothing I had thought about, defended who deserved it, put a brand on the untalented, the ersatz writers, doing what anyhow had to be done. And now they press to tell me that I'm brave. How sharply our children will be ashamed, taking at last their vengeance for these horrors, remembering how in so strange a time common integrity could look like courage.
Yeah, that one's so good.
Right.
There's one about courage from the Book of Qualities that I'd love to read as an after chat form, maybe, or if we have time.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I will make a note. Thanks, Anne. So, Rory, how would you feel about going next?
Yeah, I can do that. My poem is fairly short. It's by an American black poet named Ross Gay, who's like done some really, really good stuff, not surprisingly. And this is one of those good poems. Yeah, it's not about activism per se or anything like that. And there are a lot of ways to read it, but I kind of take it on face value, but also the idea that our individual actions have repercussions, that they affect the other people around you, and that you can, your choices will live on after you, regardless of what happens to you as an individual. A small, needful fact is that Eric Garner worked for some time for the Parks and Rec horticultural department, which means, perhaps, that with his very large hands, perhaps, in all likelihood, he put gently into the earth some plants, which, most likely, some of them, in all likelihood, continue to grow, continue to do what such plants do, like house and feed small and necessary creatures, like being pleasant to touch and smell, like converting sunlight into food, like making it easier for us to breathe.
I was going to read that one, and I'm kind of glad you read it because I don't know if I could have got through it without crying. Like, I love that one so much.
Yeah, it fucks me up every time.
We want to go on Black American Poets and crying. I could be All Rise next, or Still I'll Rise.
I was thinking, how would you feel about doing that as the last one? I think that would make a lovely crowning piece of this whole sesh. And it will be preceded by Kitty doing their one. Oh God.
Oh, it might be a mess after Kitty doing their one, I know, but we'll see.
we will potentially need to take a 2-minute breather for everyone to just sort of mop themselves dry a bit.
Yeah, we'll take a break before Kitty starts. Everyone will grab a box of tissues if you need them, and
yeah.
I can offer a breather in the form of art written as beautiful protest.
Yes.
So last week, maybe, I read something from this and I was a bit vague on exactly what it was a response to, but I looked it up, and this whole sort of art is a response to the sort of two things: the rewriting of the junior version of the Oxford Dictionary, in which lots of nature words were taken out. So every poem in this the title is one of the words that was taken out of the children's dictionary. And they also just generally against losing natural spaces. And so a lot of the proceeds go to charities that build stuff. So none of the poems are about activism, but they are all lost words that they think should be valued. And they've talked about this work as like a form of beautiful protest. So I'm going to do the first one, which is called Acorn. As flake is to blizzard, as curve is to sphere, as knot is to net, as one is to many, as coin is to money, as bird is to flock, as rock is to mountain, as drop is to fountain, as spring is to river, as glint is to glitter, as near is to far, as wind is to weather, as feather is to flight, as light is to star, as kindness is to good, so acorn is to wood. Also, beautiful this is.
So nice. So lush. Thank you very much, Pina. So who else do we have? I've got one by Naira Waheed, which is quite a short one, which I think counts as protest poetry for sure. So this is called Birthmarks. I don't know if anybody knows it. I am not yours. I did not make the long, hard journey through and across the spirit world to be a man's ocean. My body is not yours. My mouth is not yours. My water is not yours. Nothing I am belongs to you unless I decide to open my hand and give it to you. Fuck yeah, fucking badass.
Yeah, that one was fucking rad.
M, I think you said that you had a one by Shane, gentleman whose surname I still can't pronounce very well.
Well, I could pull out a Shane Corrigan one, which would be like really long and less rehearsed if we have time for it at the end, is what I was thinking. Because I've read the other one and I've got the Maya Angelou one, and then I also have my own. But like,
oh my god, yes!
Album called Stand Up and Say Something that is like entirely fucking protest poetry that I highly recommend listening to from like, I think it's early 2010, and it's all still so fucking relevant, like particularly relevant feeling right now.
Mm-hmm. Is that the one that it has, I can't remember what the name of the track is, but it's something about like liking your body. It's something about, it kind of starts around someone asking the question like, what's your favorite thing about your body? And it's this just incredible kind of like body positivity / what the fuck kind of a question is that? I am a human and I exist in my body, and that's an amazing thing.
I am not sure what album that's on, but fuck, I want to listen to it now.
I will find like Martin sent it to me, obviously, and I was like, oh, best thing ever.
The pork chop one. Is it the pork chop one? Okay, then yes, then that is on that one.
Possibly. Sorry, getting sidetracked. M.
I totally read that. It's a total protest poem too at the end if there's something.
Another question: how would you feel about reading your poem that you have written?
Positive, I think. Haven't read it fully out loud yet. But yeah, I really wanted to try to finish one of my activism ones. I think two that I've been going on for today because, gosh, wait to have a deadline. So yeah, I think this one's called Warning. And I like started it right around when all of the police brutality stuff was just kind of ramping up recently. And yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm a fan of some men. Let's not get carried away and say I'm a fan of all men or anything like that. Who isn't a fan of some bastards? I mean, plenty of musicians and writers are indeed assholes, and people are still into them as if they're perfectly all right human beings. We try to separate the art from the artist, the sense of security from its apparent guard, until that is their target is us. Then it's harder to ignore. It's easier to take control and respin a tale when the fantasy is obvious. Spin it into fan fiction the way Potter fans have reshaped a world formed by a delusional exclusionary into something far more imaginative than someone who settled on the name Cho Chang ever could. It's much harder to make a safe space from the sneakiest of suspects and destroy the story spun around and through our lives, protecting the fantasy of the world's most predatory pawns we believed were providing something for us, despite the storyline being the same every time. The public perspective on police is particularly puzzling. They've gained a larger fan base and the most beloved boy wizard, yet what they've inspired seems more slimy. It's always another not white person needlessly harmed by the people who are supposed to prevent us from being beaten, tased, strangled, shot, murdered at a deliberately mislabeled crime scene. It's hard to think we're force-fed to protect and serve and seldom wonder to protect what and serve who. Who's telling us this, and who created the world in which the obvious answer was everyone, and it was seldom checked? Why do we assume it's reality without stopping to look? Who do you think benefits from the things you don't see or hear? Stop and listen to the cries overshadowed by alarms that we were told meant help is on its way. Stop and look to see who brought lethal weapons to a peaceful protest, full of people oozing with anger and grief because they have felt the deadliness required to uphold this fantasy. And the cost could never be worth paying. Too many Black lives, too many Indigenous lives, too many lives of color are gone, are still here, are stuck, being punished for someone else's phobia, which in theory is that person's problem, except it's not. Not when people are gone. Not when they're out there pulling at prospects, preventing people from organizing, prepping a trap in every direction they claim leads to safety. So we're too tired and too scared to stand up. So yeah, when I say all cops are bastards, I fucking mean it. All of them. Even their own admit it. You can hear them too, right? Or at least the sirens clouding the soul-shattering screams and shards of glass splattering like blood. The loud noises to cloud what's really keeping you up at night. Don't forget, there's supposed to be a warning to stop and get out of there.
Holy shit.
Fucking hell, Em. Wow.
That's incredibly powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. No other word for it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fucking thank you.
Well, this got finished because someone decided to make poetry time a thing. It was like, hey, Mon-Fri. So thank you, Katie McAllister, when you finally listen to this. Thank you for the suggestion. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. There's something about making people laugh to trying to make people like be really still that I really enjoy.
You do it brilliantly. But, yeah. I have a one that I think would maybe I would like to kind of do to follow that. It's you know, it's another quite sort of quite heavy one. Does anybody have one that they would like to do after that would be a little more on the kind of hopeful, inspiring side, just so that we can kind of regulate the tone a little and try and maintain a balance between yay and nay?
I do have something that I've sent you, Frankie. It would be quite a tonal shift because it's making fun of John Lennon.
Oh, I'm here for that.
Okay, as long as it's not too much of a like tonal whiplash, though. It's totally.
Oh, it's from the Toast. Yeah, I don't even need to look at it.
Okay. Well, heads up, it's a duet, and I am expecting you to perform the part of John Lennon.
Ah, really? For realsies?
Yes.
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm so here for that.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. Oh, okay. Right. Like. Pretend that I didn't look all kind of happy and smiley just then, because I'm going to do this poem, and this is a serious poem, and we will have Rory and me also doing a thing that I haven't looked at yet, and then maybe Bina, would you like to do your next one from the poet whose name begins with V potentially?
Unless I could see that.
Yes. Okay. So this is another one by Naomi Shihab Nye, because I'm fucking obsessed. And this is called For Mohammed Zaid of Gaza, age 50. There is no stray bullet, sirs. No bullet like a worried cat crouching under a bush. No half-hairless puppy bullet dodging midnight streets. The bullet could not be a pecan plunking the tin roof, not hardly. No fluff of pollen on October's breath, no humble pebble at our feet. So don't gentle it, please. We live among stray thoughts, tasks abandoned midstream. Our fickle hearts are fat with stray devotions. We feel at home among bits and pieces, all the wandering ways of words. But this bullet had no innocence, did not wish anyone well. You can't tell us otherwise by naming it mildly. This bullet was never the friend of life, should not be granted immunity by soft saying. Friendly fire, straying death eye, why have we given the wrong weight to what we do? Mohammed deserves the truth. This bullet had no secret happy hopes. It was not singing to itself with eyes closed under the bridge.
All of hers are so good.
Naomi, I love you so much. So, how about this John Lennon piece, huh? Or is it going to be less tonally jarring if Bina goes next, and then we kind of slide in on the tails?
Yeah, I'm entirely happy with that.
Sound good? How do you feel about that, Bina?
Yeah, I'm assuming the John Lennon one's going to be slightly about how he was a bit of a shit. There's a really interesting take from Vanessa Kasule on, written from the perspective of one of the whores that Martin Luther King used to go to, which is not shitting on the movement in any way, just to be clear. So I'll maybe do that because I feel like it'll fit better with where we're at.
Works for me.
Rather than arguing with boys at parties about feminism. Okay. It's called Whore. He didn't speak much, this majestic man that led a nation with his words. His gaze was mute, those big old hands clammy. So I undressed myself, a congregation of one. God help me, I worshipped him. He'd blaspheme his way to climax, then turn his back to me, bereft and grasping. I knew better than to touch or look at him. No, I'd just lay there, silent as sin, feeling the wall's ears perk up. Part of me was glad that someone, somewhere, bore witness. He didn't like any talk of the movement. That all got hushed up, brushed off like whining mosquitoes. He liked to reminisce, and I liked to listen. He sure knew his way around a story. Man could make me laugh till I choked. He'd hold me close and tell me all about his childhood days. He always wanted to play dice with the big boys, but he was never allowed. See, those cats gambled for money. That was gambling, and gambling was a heathen sport. So he learned to amuse himself any old how. He loved to run most of all, playing hide and seek with himself, damn near quickest feet on the block. Could never outrun the lick of his daddy's switch, though. In summer, he'd lick the smoky sauce from his fingers on cookout days. His grandma would sneak him extra wings and greasy napkins. He'd hold them in his hot hands, rush to his room to eat them up, real fast before his mama caught him. That's me, a shameful, greasy thing he steals artless mouthfuls of in tiny hotel rooms with cheap sheets that bring me out in a mean old rash. Could have said all this, but I didn't. I'd just stroke his head, tell him I make a mean gumbo, that one day he should try it. We both knew that day weren't coming this time any side of never. There's a word folks use for a woman like me. It swallows everything in its bottomless mouth. His memory will live in glory, as it ought to. But I'll be some dirty, nameless thing, recorded moans in a secret database, evidence he was just a regular old man and I a regular old whore. So be it then. They don't know how he came to me in tears, and I was the only one who could put him back together to fight another day. So in some small and godless way, I was the one who set you all free.
Fucking love that. Fucking goddamn love that.
I feel like it doesn't shy away from the difficulties and the spying the FBI did and all of that kind of stuff, but keeps the human and the importance of that.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Pina. So, Rory, how do you want to do this?
Well, I thought if you've got it open there, I thought, would you be willing to read the parts of John Lennon, and I will read the parts of Yoko Ono.
Interesting. That is not the way round that I would have assumed that you were thinking. But I
think you would do a better Liverpudlian.
Oh, I can't do the Liverpudlian
Okay,
accent.
I'll rephrase that. I think you would do a delightful Liverpudlian impression.
No, I will not. No, I think I would.
From Family Guy.
I think I want you to do it. Yeah.
Oh Christ! Okay, all
So
right.
you let me know. you like also. You don't have to.
Okay. No, I'm down. Okay, let's do this.
You down? Okay. Go for it.
I've been preparing for this role of exhausting white dude my entire life. Okay. All right. This is entitled John Lennon Writes Imagine by Daniel Mallory Ortberg. Interior, night, penthouse suite, the Dakota, a very expensive hotel. Babe, 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 awake. Babe, wake up.
What? What is it?
Babe, what if we stayed in bed all day?
We're in bed right now.
No, but it'll be light now, but in the day.
But why would we do that?
For peace, Yoko.
Okay.
And we could order room service for peace.
Okay.
And make pillow forts for peace.
Okay. Did you just wake me up to tell me to stay in bed?
Stay in bed for peace, Yoko.
Okay, well, I'm going to start now, okay?
Oh, okay.
I'm going back to sleep.
Going back to sleep for peace.
Yes.
Okay, good. Sleep good.
Okay.
Sleep peacefully. just a little joke there. Sleep peacefully.
Okay, it's not very peaceful if you're still talking to me while I'm trying to sleep.
Right. Okay.
It's okay.
Right. You go back to sleep.
I will.
See you tomorrow. Peace. Hey, what if there wasn't money or property?
Babe, we own the top floor of the Dakota.
I mean in theory. I don't mean we should get rid of our stuff. I just mean like in general.
I don't know.
I think it'd be wicked. I want to make a better world for my son, you know? Just a world without countries or bridges or tariffs or hats or capitalism or anything.
Sons.
What?
You mean your sons?
What do you mean?
You have 2 sons, John.
You don't have 2 sons, you goose.
We have Sean.
Right?
And you also have Julian.
What? Oh!
Your other son
Where,
that you have.
the boy from before.
That's right.
He doesn't live here. So
No, he doesn't.
I wonder what he's up to.
I don't know.
I bet Paul would never think of this.
Think of what?
Staying in bed.
You don't think Paul goes to bed?
Oh, sure, I bet. At night. For sleeping. Not like a conformist. Not for peace. And scene. Thank you so much. I love that. I think about this piece literally every week for like the last 4 years.
You think about this.
Hey! No hats, capitalism, or anything.
That was fun. That was fun. Thanks, babe. Okay. Shake 'em off. Now. Has Kitty gone?
I'm still here.
Hooray! Kitty's still here.
Yeah. I'm
Uh,
just reading things. Am I reading next?
well, I have one more that I could potentially do, which is a Marge Piercy one.
Fuck yeah, do it.
Which is sort of only about protest in the first verse, but it's all nice. How does that sound?
I also have another one about hope, which as a resource, which would be a nice one to do today.
Perfect.
And if you do want to hear that one, Frankie, from Shane Koizan, I found it and have read it before and would totally read it if you want to hear it.
Perfect. Okay, right. Here's how we're going to go. I'm going to go. Bina's going to go. Kitty's going to go. Em's going to go with Maya Angelou, and then we're going to see how we're doing for time, and then there's maybe going to be the Shane one. How does that sound?
That's good.
Team poetry ready? Okay, let's do this. Mute. So, this is by Marge Piercy, and it's called If They Come in the Night. Long ago, on a night of danger and vigil, a friend said, "Why are you happy?" He explained, we lay together on a cold, hard floor, what prison meant because he had done time, and I talked of the death of friends. "Why are you happy then?" he asked, close to angry. I said, "I like my life. If I have to give it back, if they take it from me, let me not feel I wasted any. Let me not feel I forgot to love anyone I meant to love. That I forgot to give what I held in my hands, that I forgot to do some little piece of the work that wanted to come through. Sun and moonshine, starshine, the muted light off the waters of the bay at night, the white light of the fog stealing in, the first spears of morning touching a face I love. We all lose everything. We lose ourselves. We are lost. Only what we manage to do lasts, what love sculpts from us. But what I count, my rubies, my children, are those moments wide open when I know clearly who I am, who you are, what we do, a marigold, an oak leaf, a meteor, with all my senses hungry and filled at once, like a pitcher with light. Marge!
She's so good.
Goddamn.
Okay.
Okay. Right. Bina.
This is Hope is a Resource, and it's by Agnes Torok, but the O's have like umlauts and I don't know how to pronounce them. Everyone's muted, so, but there you go. This is Hope is a Resource. Hope is a revolt, a resistance, a renewable resource. When they want us to cower in corners and shut down with fear, hope is a resource, so don't you forget it. Don't you squander it. Don't you keep it to yourself and leave it there, like a guilty pleasure, like a stuffed animal you've got too old for, like the love letters you wrote as a teenager, like that bleeding heart of yours. Hope is a resource. It should be treasured, precious, prized, because it germinates in community, replenishes and renews its own reserves, grows like weeds when unwatched. Hope, 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 whisper it into pillows, mumble it in lovers' ears, shout it on street corners, press it into strangers' palms, hug it into loved ones' hearts, gather it up like dandelion fuzz, like a universe of stars, like little seeds of resistance in your open hands. Puff up your cheeks and blow it to the wind. Scatter it like confetti. Spread it like sunshine. Pushing through the water's surface, take a deep breath and fill your lungs with it. Feel it spread on your tongue and down your throat, making it easier to breathe. Feel it roller coaster through your insides, ride shotgun with your pulse, your blood delivering it like a mailman handing out only good news. Hear your heart beating, belting, bettering, each repeated rhythm reminding you another world is possible. Another world is possible. Another world is possible. Notice the way it tingles in you, all that hope buzzing, the way it hums a melody that keeps the threats and fears from getting too close. Smell the dandelion seeds. See how they travel with the wind, right there. Hear your heartbeat, reminding you another world starts here.
You motherfucker, you made me cry.
Me too.
It's meant to be a joyful one.
It is. These are fucking joyful tears.
You be no shit.
Sorry, didn't mean to break everyone. And there's still reading to do.
No, that's building, not breaking, crying. Different.
Yes, these are good tears.
I need to blow my nose before I do the next reading. Fuck you! It's too good! Poetry.
Oh, stupid poetry time.
I have to pee. I'm gonna run and hope that Kitty doesn't start reading before I'm back.
We won't start until you're done peeing. This is good. This is good. Beta. What the fuck was that? What? Explain yourself.
So the whole collection is called All the Days We Don't Revolt, and it's basically like reassurances that it's okay to be human while trying to like make things better.
Oh my god.
I think I'm spent. We should just stop Storytime now.
Yeah, Storytime's cancelled, guys.
All the days we don't revolt. Is that what you said?
All the days
Yes.
we don't revolt. Is that okay? All the days we don't.
I love how indignant everyone is of like, epiphanies. No emotion, no feelings, only epiphanies.
It's from, so I impulse bought it at the same time that I bought the Vanessa Kisule poems. It's from the same publisher. Yeah.
I'm going to buy that, perhaps immediately.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same.
Just another step to our like exact replica poetry collections. Because I'm like, I think I'm gonna buy some Marge Piercy. So
Yes.
Coincidentally, I gave a Marge Piercy poetry collection called My Mother's Body to Belle today for a very belated birthday present. Yeah.
Excellent. Yes. Excellent. When I was down in Bristol the other week, we went back to the secondhand bookshop where I got the copy of The Sun and Her Flowers the first time I was in Bristol, and they had a copy of, is it Milk and Honey? Is the first collection by Rupi Kaur, and I was so close to getting it. I didn't quite because I already had a stack like that, but it's like, poetry time.
yeah, like my poetry collection is so much larger than it was at the start of lockdown.
Me too. Like quadrupled in size or something like that.
So
Yeah.
good.
I'm going back to work tomorrow and I'm like, what have I actually done during lockdown? And it's so much of it is just read a shit ton of poetry.
You've grown yourself spiritually and emotionally.
Yeah, but the work is all going to be undone by working 9 to 5 or working weird hours doing customer service.
That's not work that goes away. It can be like scuffed off and kind of lacquered over a bit, but you are and will be for the rest of your life spiritually and emotionally broader and deeper and richer than you were before.
Okay, whatever you say, Frankie.
If you get an annoying customer, speak to them in poems.
Yes.
Closed, like confession. I'll do that one about ambulances because I know that one by heart and it'll make them really upset.
Yes. Perfect.
Yeah.
Start every call with 3 lines in a random poem.
Okay, so M is peeing, and I promised them that we wouldn't begin your one until the peeing was done. And they're done! What fabulous timing you have, Em. So, right. I hope everyone is sufficiently
Recovered.
yes, recovered. That's a much nicer way of putting it. So we will have Kitty's one, and then Em will read Maya Angelou's. And as time is ticking on, what I may do is end the official session / recording there, and people can, if they wish to, stick around for the after chat and exchange more poetry. How does that sound? Okay, right. Kitty.
Okay, so this is a longer one, and it's a poem that I have sort of edited a little bit. It's the second half of a video essay from YouTube, and it's all about being visible as a queer person. Okay, so Being Seen, a video about being trans and non-binary by Curio. Transition, or coming out, or just coming to know who you are, involves looking back at little tiny moments from a long time ago, and realizing that you were who you are now, back then, just for an instant. In that other time, the time between, while you're waiting for your life to start, you hold on to those little instants like precious jewels. You hoard them, you keep them in a safe chest, and when you go back to them, you experience all of them instantaneously. It is April 2007 and I am in primary school. The teacher has just announced the competition and the class is deciding how to split up. I am filled with dread. For years, this has gone the same way. They will decide to split up boys and girls. This time, I will ask if I can be on the girls' team. Nearly all my friends are girls. The class will shout this down, and the teacher will dismiss it without a second thought. I won't ask again. It is 17th of December 2019, and I am with friends. I feel happy and safe and drunk. An NB I might be in love with has just read me a poem by a trans woman about choosing to be alive. It is beautiful. Tomorrow I will talk with a non-binary barista at Starbucks about their fantastic eyeshadow. They are sweet and wonderful, and they drop tea bags all over the floor because they try to carry too many at once, but are impressively calm about this, calmer than I would be. Underneath their name, on their name tag, it says they, them. It occurs to me they are seen by maybe 100 people a day. It is December 20th, 2018, and I am seeing this non-binary barista for the first time. They have a beard and dark lipstick, and I am like a rabbit in the headlights of their beauty. I have never thought that before that I, because of my beard, can look good with lipstick. It is the 11th of November 2019, and I am sitting in McDonald's right after filming a video about comedy and masculinity, and I've just made up my mind that I'm going to make this video. And I've told Natalie, and she asks how I'm going to tell my mum, and I don't know, but I know I have to tell her before this video comes out. Natalie suggests, if I'm scared, I could write her a letter. And before I can consider whether I want this or not, I am crying. I don't know. I just don't know. It is June 2013, and I am reading Watchmen for this first time, and I am loving it. The story of John Osterman, who is destroyed in an accident and then reassembles himself from nothing, will later inspire a bit I'm going to do for a video that is more of a poem than an essay. It strikes me that instead of evolving like a cocoon from which a butterfly hatches, transformation can be violent and sudden, and sometimes, to become something new, first you have to be completely destroyed. It is February the 10th, 2018, and I'm in Berlin, and I have just seen the memorial for the murdered Jews of Europe for the first time, and I'm walking towards the memorial for the murdered LGBT people. I am terrified. It is September 2002, and we have moved to a new city, and with that, I have moved to a new school. My teacher smells of dried tea and strong perfume and dehydration. Later, other kids will tell me this is old lady smell. She writes my name in cursive, where I'm still struggling to write it printed. In her squiggly handwriting, my name says Ink. It is January 23rd, 2020, and I am reading a book of poetry by a trans woman called Jennifer Espinosa. It's the same book of poetry my NB friend was reading me last December. Each poem is too beautiful to bear, and I have to take breaks. Jennifer Espinosa publishes poetry under the name Joshua Jennifer Espinosa, incorporating her birth name into her name as a reflection of how much her art is about her transition. It is December 2016 and I am in Starbucks again. I am here every morning because my job as a programmer is well paid enough for me to get a coffee every day, which is a novelty. It is December 2016 and I hate my job. The office space is aggressively gendered. My father, who is epileptic, once described a minor seizure or absence attack as being like a big creature was filling every inch of the space. Like the people were existing in this borrowed space that the creature, the air, was just letting them be in. This is gender to me. The creature called gender presses against every surface and fills every nook and cranny. I cry in the bathroom at least once a day. It is December 2016 and I am in Starbucks and the barista calls out, Enk? And I know what's happened. And I call out, Eric. And another Enk comes forward to claim his coffee. And it seems weird to me that this Enk has never heard of Enk before. It feels like a strange secret to me now. It is 2018 and I don't want to look inside the memorial to the murdered LGBT people. And the best way I can explain why not is I don't want to die. I know how the world I live in treats L, G, B and T people, especially T people more than anybody. I don't want to die. I also don't want to be this other thing. I don't want to let go of the pretense of who I was and have it fly off me like a tarpaulin in a storm and uncover the half-constructed machine of me that still needs so much work. I don't want to die. I am terrified. It is November 2019 and I am about to look inside the memorial for the second time, and I still don't feel ready. I can see so clearly what I saw last time in my mind's eye. Inside the stone block, an androgynous figure sits, alone and imprisoned, in the dark. I can see it even before I can see it. I am wrong about this. In a moment I will look inside and realize that my memory of what I was afraid of seeing was clearer than what I actually saw. I will start crying before I realize what is even going on. It is Christmas Day 2018 and I have sent my mum a script in which I talk about being bisexual. I only realised after sending it that I never talked to her about this before. Someone at the dinner table mentions Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, which I joke about copiously in my script. My mum shoots me a smirk and I smile back, and a moment later I realise this means she has read my script. February 10th, 2018. I am dying. It is June 2017 and I have been fascinated with name changes for a long time. It seems like such an essential part of being trans, but also just exciting, right? An opportunity to reinvent yourself. Nonetheless, I decide I don't want a new name. The way people who know me say my name feels so different to the people who don't know me say it. I think of the other Enk in Starbucks who didn't know about Enk. I think Enk might be something I can choose to let people in on. It is April 21st, 2020, and I have decided I do want a new name. But I also want my current name. I want many names for my many ways of being. I want to be Eric, and I want to be Enk, and I want to... who knows? It is December 24th, 2019. And I am pretty sure my mum doesn't look at my Twitter, where I talk about being MB all the goddamn time. But then I mention a tweet I made and she says she saw it, and I am filled with too many emotions, too complex to describe in words. February 10th, 2018. I am becoming. It is January 29th, 2020, and I am wearing a skirt for the first time. It's exciting. It is scary. After telling my partner and my closest friends for months now, I wish I could shapeshift. I feel like I've suddenly learned how. My body is a different shape. a different style, and feminine. The days when I wake up and hate my body for not matching how I am on the inside don't have anything to frighten me with anymore. When I feel masculine, when I feel feminine, when I feel multitudes of both, I can just be me. Judith Butler put out an influential theory about how gender is performed. And although many trans people seem to dislike it, I like it. If my gender is performed, then it is art, like all human creation. And if I perform my gender for others to pick up on and interpret, then I can put on a whole ass show. I can be complex and nuanced and dramatic. My gender can have themes. I love themes. It is April 17th, 2020, and we've been in quarantine lockdown for over a month. I really wanted to come out to my mum in person, but it's feeling more urgent all the time, especially as I've been wearing makeup and a skirt for half the days of quarantine so far. Quarantine has its own weird effect on time. Quarantine time, 2020. I'm considering getting really into crabs. My new video idea notes reads, crabs? It is February 2nd, 2020. My friend is telling me about a woman who died in her hometown, who was buried as a man because her family didn't know she was a woman. My friend shows me a tattoo on her arm that she has, of her own name, and explains that this is so that nobody can take her identity away. It occurs to me that my fascination with renaming may be a fascination with claiming your own identity. It is April 2020. Did you know the largest species of crab, the Japanese spider crab, can reach up to 12 feet long from claw to claw? It is 1:45 a.m. on April 21st, 2020, and I am in bed reading Joshua Jennifer Espinosa's poems. Yesterday I told my mum about my gender. She already knew. It is February 10th, 2018. And I am looking inside the memorial. Behind the glass window, a video plays on a loop. It shows two men kissing, and behind them, scenes of homophobic persecution. Figures in nooses, protests, hatefulness. But the couple stands defiant, totally carefree and in love. Everything I was afraid of is in this box, nonetheless. But there's something else in there, and it is beautiful. Yeah, that's a really, really amazing video essay that I will post up. You guys should totally check it out.
Please do.
I'm like not surprised, but also in retrospect, but like definitely cried more hearing you read it.
Thank you. I'm glad that I can milk you for tears better.
I'm all right with milking me for tears. It's usually in a good way.
God, I was like, yeah, I'm fine with this. This is nice. And then the end came, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Rory, are you crying?
Rory's crying!
Rory, babe. Also, Kitty, that was an absolutely fucking bang-on dramatic pan round to that was like your cinematography is fantastic. Oh, Jesus, that was good. So, how do people feel about some Maya Angelou? Huh? Em, are you up for it? Like, if you...
Yeah. It's a good follow-up, man. What a fucking ending. No, like, bringing it up with a little shame first. No, we're just diving in. Sweet. Cool.
You can
So
have
good.
a break if you need
Yeah,
one.
you definitely don't have to either do it at all or go straight into it.
Oh no, I'm good. I'm someone who I like pouring on the feelings. It helps draw them out when they've been stuck a little.
Yeah.
So I will say that there are definitely lines in this that I kind of almost feel uncomfortable reading as someone who isn't Black, but I'm also like, that should not fucking stop me from reading this poetry to this group of people. So I think that this is a really important piece of poetry in American history that's really relevant right now. And it also is converted really beautifully into a song by Ben Harper. And when I read this, I have been known to accidentally start singing a little. So that might happen. Anyways, I definitely react to the pace of the song. And I can share that in the group after because it's very worth a listen. So this is Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hopes springing high, still I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard? 'Cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness. But still, like air, I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide, leaving behind nights of terror and fear. I rise into a daybreak that's wondrously clear. I rise, bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. I love that poem.
Fuck yes. Fuck yeah. Do you know, on a vaguely similar note, do you know My Dream About Being White by Lucille Clifton?
No.
I think I'm gonna send you that. I'll finish the meeting on that one because I think that was a fucking double punch, a triple punch after goddamn Bina. The Musketeers over here savaging everybody in the emotions. But I will definitely send y'all a link to that one because that was fucking brilliant. Awesome. But yeah, I think we will hereby call this meeting of Poetry Time to a close. This has been fucking brilliant.
Yeah, it's been really good.
This has been so fucking good. And once again, Katie, if you are ever watching this, thank you so much for the suggestion of this theme, and we wish you were here.
And the rest of the catch-up crew, we love you too.
We love you, catch-up crew. Good night. Good night. Hold on.
Good night.
Oh no, wait, no. Keep saying good night. I can't stop the recording.